Hey y'all, I'm the Mister, if you don't already know. And I just got a message from one of my kids, Keondre. What's up, nephew? Condre's got involved in kind of a Facebook brawl and he asked for help. And you guys who know me know that when one of my kids needs help, I do what I can to try to help. So, first thing, Condre, you got to block a lot of these people. Y'all, Condre sent me this really long Facebook comment thread where he's getting attacked, and some of the attack is really nasty. First thing you got to do, Condre, you got to block the people that are being nasty. They're coming after you personally. They're coming after your wife. They're making comments about your character that are just wildly inappropriate, and you should not tolerate that. You don't deserve that. You haven't said anything hateful or horrible, and the people that are being hateful and horrible to you are not qualified for an adult conversation. And this is good for everybody. When you're dealing with somebody who is demonstrably not qualified for an adult conversation, stop trying to have one with them. Now, give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, maybe they didn't mean for it to sound that way, or maybe they were trying to make a joke and it fell flat. That's cool. Give them a chance. Do not sink to their level. Don't answer hate with hate. Try to be reasonable. Try to keep yourself under control. If they don't want to be reasonable, then don't waste your time with them. Just move on. Block them and move on. Life's too short to allow that kind of toxic hate into your life. Also, don't let them bog you down in trivial nonsense. You spend a lot of time arguing about whether or not this kid got dropped off by his mom. Who cares? Or whether or not he was allowed to open carry in the presence of an adult. Who cares? The guy walked by multiple cops with a gun and nobody stopped him and checked for ID. Now, maybe the cops dropped the ball, maybe they didn't, but that's not for the public to decide. That is a matter for the court to decide. If you think he's breaking the law, report it to a cop and let a cop handle it. Take a video of it and post a video on YouTube and say, why isn't anybody stopping this guy from carrying a gun? You are not entitled to assault him and try to disarm him because you think he might be breaking the law by having the gun. That is not a thing you're entitled to do. Don't waste your time arguing with people that are just stuck on stupid. It's not worth the effort. And dude, you got to stop repeating yourself. Make the point, give them a chance to respond to it. If they don't respond to the point, maybe repeat it once and tell them, hey, look, you're not dealing with the point I'm trying to make. But don't keep making the same argument over and over and over with somebody who is not interested in hearing that argument, or they're not capable of understanding it. You got a couple of times where you write a paragraph response to the same person that didn't read the first paragraph response or lacked the capacity to comprehend it. Definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Once they show you that they're not interested in what you have to say, or they're not addressing your points, then move on. Just move on. The argument that it was okay to attack him because he shouldn't have been there in the first place, everybody that's making that idiotic argument, I need you to stop for a second and think. Kyle Rittenhouse should have been assaulted by random strangers because he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. All right, you got that? An 18-year-old girl goes to a frat party. She shouldn't have been there in the first place. She gets drunk. She shouldn't have been drinking. She gets raped. Is the rape okay? Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have been at the riot in the first place. Okay. He shouldn't have had the gun. Okay. Doesn't excuse the assault. It doesn't give anybody a right to assault or attack him or try to injure him. The same way it doesn't give anybody the right to rape an 18-year-old girl who should not have been at the frat party to start with. You got to be careful about making these irrational arguments because it's going to lead you down an uncomfortable road. saying that he wasn't entitled to defend himself because he was in the commission of a crime by having the gun in the first place. There was no probable cause for anybody to think that he shouldn't have had the gun in the first place. The people that assaulted him were not assaulting him because he was in the commission of a crime by having the gun. They had no reason to believe that. Someone having a gun is not instigating a conflict. The presence of a firearm is not incitement to violence. It's just a weak, stupid, childish, hysterical, emotional argument. You got to stop making it. And the people that want to make it, give them a chance. Offer them the counter argument. And if they ignore it, move on. You can't protect someone else's property. He wasn't. He was protecting himself. Now, he went there with the purpose of defending property, but he didn't shoot anybody because they were committing an act of vandalism. He didn't shoot someone for trying to burn a car or loot a store. He shot people that were in the process of attacking him. So again, making the argument that he shouldn't have been there in the first place is stupid. Stop making that argument. And if somebody's making that argument, give them the counter. If they ignore it, move on. I got notes because I don't have anybody here to have a conversation with, so I got to have notes. So I try to not make this thing be 3 hours of me rambling. Okay, Kyle had the option to stay home. Yeah, so did everybody else. What's your point? Kyle Rittenhouse had the option to stay home and not be involved in the riot. Yeah, so did the people rioting. I mean, that's insane. He went there planning on a confrontation. Doesn't mean he had to have one. If he instigated an attack, then he would be in the wrong. And if there's evidence that he did, then okay, he's wrong for that. But so far, the facts that we currently have is that he tried to avoid conflict. He apparently was running away from the people that were chasing him and attacking him. They knocked him to the ground, hit him with a skateboard, and somebody with a gun lunged at him. That's not him instigating a conflict. That's him trying to avoid it. That's him running away from it. If you're not going to argue on the basis of facts, you're not being a rational adult, and nobody should be taking you seriously. You have to be honest. You can't expect anybody to try and have a rational conversation with you if you're just misrepresenting the facts or making things up. There's no evidence that he went there with malice or with racist intent. He did not go there with malicious intent. He went there with a gun in case something bad happened. But there's no evidence that he initiated anything bad. And to say that he was there because he was racist, he shot white people. How does that work? He didn't shoot random people. He didn't fire wildly into the crowd. He didn't shoot at people carrying signs. He shot at people who were attacking him. Stop making specious, ridiculous, infantile arguments. It's making you look really stupid. I mean, not you, Keondre, the people that are, you know what I mean. No, Kyle Rittenhouse did not oppose the Black agenda. He defended himself from criminal assault. And if you're saying that the Black agenda is assaulting armed white people, that's racist. If the Black agenda is about rioting and looting and violence, that's wildly racist. And that's a sure sign. Somebody making that argument is a sure sign that that is someone you need to block because they're not to be taken seriously. Rittenhouse was not there to oppose the protesters. He was there to defend life and property against rioters by all available evidence. He didn't shoot any protesters. He didn't shoot people carrying signs. He didn't shoot peaceful marchers. He shot people who were attacking him. So to say that he was there opposing a protest, or that he was there with violent intent because of protesters, no, he wasn't. He was there because of violence that had already taken place. And he was stepping up to defend against violence, not in a counter protest, to defend against violence. If you cannot hear that, you cannot have an adult conversation. We got all these social media mind readers and armchair lawyers that are going to end up looking really stupid if this kid ends up getting acquitted. We got a lot of people that are getting very deeply invested in an emotional narrative that, by the available evidence, is nonsense. Y'all need to understand, you are letting your ideology become your identity. You let your opinion define you instead of letting the facts define your opinion. And you think that because you have an opinion, your opinion is as good as everybody else's. Look, all opinions are not the same. All opinions are not valid. And having an opinion is not a justification for the opinion. If your opinion isn't based on facts, if your opinion is based on a hysterical, emotional narrative, it's a bad opinion. And you need to leave yourself open to adjusting it when new information comes out. Look, everything that I'm saying here is based on the information that is currently available. I'm not married to any of this stuff. I'm not committed to it. It's not a cause. There's no evidence that this kid did anything wrong in defending himself. Now, if more information comes out, if we get more insight into his motivations, that might change. Maybe he is a hateful racist and went there to shoot black people. He didn't accomplish his goal. And there's no evidence to support that he was there to shoot protesters. He didn't shoot protesters. He shot people attacking him. And there's a lot of video evidence and witness testimony that he avoided shooting as much as he could. He wasn't shooting wildly. He was shooting in defense. And if you're not willing to consider all of the facts and you're just spouting off at the mouth, you're going to end up with a lot of egg on your face, or you're going to end up digging a hole for yourself that you're not going to be able to climb out of. I hope this helped, Keondre. I hope it made sense. If it didn't make sense, or if it didn't really help, feel free to leave a comment and I'll amend my comments. Feel free to ask a question and I'll try to answer it. But I'm going to practice what I preach. You come at me with hate, you come at me with toxic nonsense, you come at me with hyper emotional, infantile garbage, I'm going to block you. I'm going to block you, I'm going to ban you, I'm going to move on with my life because you're not worth the time. If you want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. If you have new evidence, then present it. If you think I've misread something, by all means, offer your opinion, offer your perspective. I welcome it, I treasure it, I appreciate it. But if you're not qualified for an adult conversation, I'm not going to waste my time with you. Be rational, be reasonable, be kind, or be gone. If you like this kind of stuff, if you think it's helpful, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel at TheMister's Homeroom. You can also follow me on Facebook, TheMister's Homeroom on Facebook, or on Twitter at TheMister at Mister's Homeroom. I'm the Mister. I'm just trying to help. Thanks for the question, Keondre. Be good, or be good at it.